Hey people of YouTube, Wayne Hackman here, aka Whackstar. Forgive the dark surroundings, however I've made myself a little workstation so that we can finish off the drawer install and also put a solar inverter in place. Hang around for this one, looking forward to sharing this progress with you. Okay, so what's the plan? Well, you'll see here, this is the drawer system that I installed in the previous video. Go check it out, link above in the description as well. So the plan is very, very simple. I'm going to carpet or put some plywood in here and then carpet it over, have a nice flat back down there as well. So we get a nice flat bed all the way across. And on this side, the theory is I've got enough space to put in a small 300 watt inverter system. Okay, so for the solar kit, got a 80 amp hour 12 volt solar battery, as well as a solar charge controller, 300 watt inverter, which also has a little USB, 5 volt USB out the side. And then I've got a voltage regulator, and the thinking is that I'm going to put, when the car is moving, using the cigarette lighter socket at the back, just put a steady 14.5 volts into this so it can get charged off the car alternator. But when it's sitting around not doing a lot, I've got this 80 watt solar panel which I'm going to mount on the roof of the vehicle as well. So this is all going to go in there, but the first thing I need to do is put these brackets on. Now these brackets become part of the rack, and I need to install them here. There's another one that goes on the back. I need to shorten these ones off as well, so the ply board has something to sit onto. I can even screw it in if I want to as well, but it's quite nice just to have the access that I need to get the boards, to get access to the solar array and charging station there. So that's the theory. I'm going to get on and do that. I'll obviously keep you appeased with my progress, and you can see what and how I get on. So let's get to work.
Now, I hasten to add, I'm no craftsman here, so I'm learning as I go along, and if you've come here to snipe at my working technique, then you can go off and watch other YouTube videos. So the first thing that I needed to do was to just put the end fascia plates in. So I sketched those out onto the wood and cut them into place, as you can see, and I obviously did that for both the left and the right hand side. On the left hand side, I wanted to fit the solar charge controller and the trickle charger in, so I sort of kind of worked out roughly where I wanted them, and then using a jigsaw managed to cut out those holes and just got a rough idea of where they would fit, and you can see it looks something like that. Now, this was my first attempt of carpeting any wood, so I used some impact adhesive. This is a little bit old, so it took me some while to spread it out, and then I stuck that onto the cloth, and then I started off by stapling the overlap onto the back, so you can't actually see this. I didn't do a very good job, and I got better as the build went on. I also drilled the brackets into place, ready for this thing to be screwed onto the drawers.
Okay, so this is what I've been doing. I've made a hole for the solar charge controller, which is wired into the battery as well as the inverter, which I'll show you in a minute where I've put that. And then above it is a voltage regulator stroke charging unit, and this will trickle charge the battery. And if I flip over, I'll show you what I've done. You can see the sort of wiring here. All the wiring comes out. That will go to the battery, that will go to the solar panel, and then these ones will go to the inverter. The inverter's already fused. That battery one will be fused as well, and of course there'll be a fuse in the solar panel circuit when I finally get around to doing that. You can also see here, this is a 12 volt socket, and that will plug into the 12 volt socket in the back if the car needs to trickle charge. I can plug that in if we're on a bit of a long journey. And this also, these two here, go off to the battery as well, and that will almost be like a battery maintainer. Keeps the car system separate from the auxiliary system. And then you can see I've also screwed the bracket in here, and then that will be bolted onto the side of the drawer system. And it should all fit in. Let's have a look. Move this over here. I mean, obviously this is a dry fit, and I'll do better on the cable management. And there you go, it fits all in there nicely. So I was thinking about how to hold the battery in place. So what I've got is some of this threaded, I don't know what you call that, threaded pole, or bolted it in the bottom, and then that's going to fit into the bottom there, and I can screw it in, and then the battery will sit on top, and I can put a bit of metal, or I was thinking a bit of plastic piping across the top here to hold it securely in place. So let's have a look and see what it looks like. So there you go, this is now secure, not going anywhere, butted up against the wheel arch there, and then the inverter will pop in there, so that's not going to go anywhere. Used a bit of pipe here and a screw. I'm quite pleased with that. Obviously we'll have to bush test it and see if it gets broken. Okay, so let's on with the build. Okay, so that's it with the top board cover on. So you see I've done the side bit there, and so all I need to do now is the wiring of the inverter, so I'm going to do that now. Okay, I think I've got it. So here we go. We've got a trickle charger here, which can be plugged into the outlet here, and I can remove that, and obviously the trickle charger will switch off. So in essence keeps the whole car system auxiliary system separate. Then you can see the solar charge controller there, and if I press this button here and pull out press this button here, okay, it puts power down to the inverter, which is there, and that's a little 300 watt inverter, goes into an extension which I will eventually mount here, so that I've got a place to charge all of those. Switch that off there, that switches off the 12 volt system, and so there you go. I have one more thing to do now, is to do the side skirt and put the carpet on that, and we are done. So far I'm quite pleased.
The company I bought the drawers from provided me with some marine ply, which I thought would be great if the deck ever got wet. It's not going to rot. Used a compass and a pencil to sketch out the contours in the wall, and then using my jigsaw cut around those lines. Finishing it off with my circular score to get a nice straight line so that I can fit each of the side skirts snugly between the drawer and the walls. And you can see this is what the finished article looks like. Spent a little bit of time gluing and carpeting, and in a moment you'll see what the finished article looks like. So it's finished. Took me a little longer than I had planned, and I must admit I made my experience a little bit more complicated than it needed to be if you wanted to install this drawer system. But let's have a look. You can see that the drawer system is installed in the back. I've also finished putting the inverter and the charging system in as well, and then on top right there is an 80 watt solar panel. I've also wired my Kenwood TS50 in there, but that's a video for another time. So let's have a little closer look at what I have achieved, and then I'll give you all the details that you need to be able to put this drawer system in yourself. So here it is in its glory. So what you've got here, I've actually salvaged some plywood here and put oiled top of this particular drawer. So I've got a little workbench here. You can see the two drawer systems which I've shown you earlier, and the table there as well. And what's really cool is, as well as you can see, the inverter system down there. And you can see that everything now is nicely tucked in to the side. You can see I've got a 300 watt inverter under there, which I showed you earlier, is all plugged into here, and I can charge laptops and things like that. It's not high power, it's not a big battery, but it's just, you know, I can charge a laptop or something like that. If I need to trickle charge on the go, I can plug that in there, and that goes into this little charge controller voltage regulator, and then of course the solar below, and you can see it's charging at 14.4 volts right at this very moment, which is very exciting. Press that button, all of the inverter and 12 volt system comes on. Press it off and it switches off, which is quite useful.
You can see I've done the same on the other side here as well. This side there isn't a lot of space, but I'm going to put some straps and maybe some bits and pieces that I don't need as often, you can see. And also what I've done is, you can just see, I've put a little bit of a wooden base there, and I can put a mattress here, so a single person can stay in here quite nicely. At some point I'll get myself an electronic cooler, but you can just see there's just a plastic one here, and then of course when I get to that point you can either charge it off the car system, or I'm going to put in here another little 12 volt which is connected to the 12 volt system and keep it separate from the car. So a few of you have asked some dimensions on this. The length of this is 105 centimeters, or just shy of 41.5 inches. The width is 102 centimeters, or 40 inches thereabouts. The depth of the system from top to bottom is 28 centimeters, just over 11 inches. And the drawer depth on the bigger drawer is, get to the bottom there, on the bigger drawer is 17 centimeters, or just under 7 inches, and the drawer depth on the wider but shorter drawer is 17 centimeters, or just under 7 inches. So that gives you an idea of the size of the system. So I'm really pleased with the install. That's the drawer system done, as well as the inverter system. Hopefully that's given you an idea of what Ultra Red Outdoors drawer system is capable of. I'm certainly very pleased with it. I'm looking forward to going out into the bush and putting this into action. It's already full up with all sorts of stuff like that. As I said earlier in the video, I'll do a complete walk round of everything I've done to the Patrol upgrade for now. And then obviously I think I'm going to pause it for a while until I can save up some cash to do some of the other cool things. As always, thanks for watching. Do all of the things that YouTubers do. Share, rate, click, subscribe, anything else to help me on the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.